God saying to a man, go from your country and your kindred and your father's house and to a land that I'll show you. And he's going to make him a nation. Look at verse 2. And I will make of you not just a nation, but a great nation. I will make of you, he's speaking to an individual here. I will make of you a great nation. And I will bless you and make your name great so that you will be a blessing. How am I going to be a blessing? Okay, fine. Maybe I'll be a blessing to Lot? No. I will bless those who bless you, and him who dishonors you I will curse, and in you all the families of the earth will be blessed. He's speaking to one individual, and he's saying, I'm going to make you a blessing to the entire world. I'm going to make you a nation that does not exist, a people that does not exist. I'm going to make your name great. People will know who you are. They will know who your nation is. And all of this, why? So that you will be a blessing to all the families of the earth. Does this at all sound familiar? Here's the interesting thing. The interesting thing is that although Abraham comes to this place and he is cut off from this people to whom he belonged to create an entirely new nation, there is part of this that is still connected. If we go back to the fall in Genesis 3, after the fall, there was the curse, and in the curse, there was a promise. He says to the serpent, I will put enmity between you and the woman and between your seed and her seed. He will bruise your head, you'll bruise his heel. So there is this war between the serpent and the seed. The serpent absolutely believes that the seed of the woman is going to crush his head. So what does he do? In the next chapter, there's the first murder. And the first murder is the seed of the serpent, Cain, killing the seed of the woman, Abel. Why do I say that Cain is seed of the serpent? Because the Bible does. 1 John 3:12. Do not be like Cain, who was of the evil one. And so there's a murder. The promised seed is murdered. Well, now what's going to happen? Well, that's okay. At the end of the chapter, Adam knows his wife again, and they have another child, and now we're introduced to Seth. And so this seed is alive again. And now we have these 10 generations from Adam to Noah through the godly line of Seth, so that the promised seed is still alive. Eventually, we're introduced to a man by the name of Terah, who is the next line in this promised seed, and he has a son by the name of Abraham, who is the next line in this promised seed. And why is that significant? It's significant because it is Abraham's promised seed who's the blessing and the nation. Listen to the way Paul puts it in Galatians chapter 3, beginning of verse 15. Look there, if you will, in Galatians chapter 3. Let's start at verse 15. To give a human example, brothers, even with a man-made covenant, no one annuls it or adds to it once it has been ratified. Now the promises were made to Abraham and his offspring. It does not say, and to offsprings, referring to many, but referring to one. And to your offspring, who is Christ. So Paul says that this offspring, this one who is promised is Christ. This is what I mean. The law, which came 430 years afterward, does not annul a covenant previously ratified by God, so as to make the promise void. For if the inheritance comes by the law, it no longer comes by promise. But God gave it to Abraham by promise. Hang in there. Go down to verse 23. Now, before faith came, we were held captive under the law, imprisoned until the coming faith would be revealed. So then, the law was our guardian until Christ came, in order that we might be justified by faith. But now that faith has come, we are no longer under a guardian. For in Christ Jesus, you are all sons of God through faith. For as many of you as were baptized into Christ have put on Christ. Who's the promise? Who's the blessing? Who's the seed? Christ. We're baptized, we put on Christ. Now we're sons of God by faith because we are in Christ. But we're not just sons of God by faith because we're in Christ. Look at what else we are. For as many of you as were baptized into Christ have put on Christ, there is neither Jew nor Greek, there is neither slave nor free, there is no male and female, for you are all one in Christ Jesus. And if you are Christ's, don't miss this, then you are Abraham's offspring, heirs according to the promise. I am a child of Abraham and an heir of the promise to Abraham. I am and you are the fulfillment of God's promise to bless all the nations of the earth through Abraham. I am not an afterthought. You are not an afterthought. This is exactly what God had in mind all along. This is not a new idea. This great nation is indeed a nation, but it's not a nation like any that we've seen before. Remember what God does in Abraham. He takes him away from his own ethnicity, from his own people, from his own land. Borders are gone. There is a new nation that is established. This new nation identifies itself through circumcision. This new nation also identifies itself through the law that they have and the morality that it establishes, the holiness that it establishes. This nation establishes itself through its dietary laws.